I really didn't want to do a video about this topic today, but we have a huge update in regard to the Republican primary here in my State Senate District number 11, with regards to, of course, the candidate who I have endorsed, Vickie Palladino, the landscape manager, taking on Silicon Valley insider Simon Minching, because that's what he is at this point. He's pretty much somebody who is backed by the establishment, aka the Queens GOP. Pretty much, there was some very hateful things being said about Vickie Palladino from the Queens GOP in a blog post that was on their Facebook page. And honestly, I was disturbed to even read this when I was eating my lunch today. I felt like I was going to have indigestion, because when I read this, I was just honestly disturbed to even talk to you. Honestly, I'm just disturbed to even talking to you all about this. But apparently, the Queens GOP is that desperate to protect their beloved Simon Minching that they're accusing Vickie Palladino of being anti-Semitic. And when I read this blog post today, I literally was sick to my stomach thinking, this is just more proof again that Simon will do anything to make Vickie Palladino look weak. And once again, I'm going to say this again, even though I do not like Donald Trump that much, I'm going to say this again, believe me, Simon Minching is weak. He is weak. He is backed by the establishment. And Vickie, I'm going to say this again. And what they're also accusing Vickie of, I'll show you this on Facebook, is they're accusing her of not getting petition signatures on a third-party ballot. And we need to discuss this immediately, because I'm just completely disgusted by Queens GOP. So without further ado, I'll take you to their Facebook page, and then we'll read the atrocious blog post from one of their members. Okay, so we are officially on the Queens GOP Facebook page, and pretty much this is the blatancy right here. Simon Minching is the endorsed candidate, obviously from their Facebook page, and honestly, I was just disturbed to even see this stuff. I was just going to throw up and saying to myself, this is what Vickie is fighting for. Alright, this is what Trump has done in a good way, and I give him credit for this. And this is what me and Vickie see eye to eye on, and I agree with her on this. We have got to fight the establishment. This is what they want for our district. This is crazy. Winning team. Winning team! There was a poll 2 or 3 weeks ago that Vickie even told me about privately, saying that she got a poll from somewhere that said she had a 2-point lead in the primary. A 2-point lead! That's something big! And again, this is ridiculous. It really is. At the end of the video, if you want to volunteer, you can still volunteer. Because again, I'm just a contributor right now. I only volunteered to get the petitions, but I'm only a contributor to the campaign right now. I'm not going to say how I am, but I'm just contributing news information, if you want to call it that, for the Vickie Palladino campaign. Then they post this article last week about how she is at war with the Queens GOP, which she is at war with them, and she's also bickering with Eric Ulrich, which she has every right to. She has every right to. And look at this. Young Republican August Social. This is a joke. At Penn Station? This is just insane. And Friday, Mark Molinaro is having a town hall in Maspeth, which I'm not going to because I have to Get ready to go to Delmarva. I'll show you this photo. This is just crazy. Unlike his primary opponent, who chooses to leave the district seeking applause and money. You believe them? You can tell this guy looks like he's gonna do harm. Look at him. If he wins, you know what that means. It means Avila gets another term. That's what this means. Thinking about it from the big picture. And again, Tony's a decent guy. Don't get me wrong. But Vickie wants to do more than him. Read this for you right now. I'll read it. Congratulations to our good friend and political ally Tom Long, Queens chairman of the Conservative Party, for fending off multiple opportunities to ballot by candidates who sought to hijack the Conservative line. One candidate was, of course, landscape manager Vickie Palladino. The opportunity to ballot filled on behalf of Mrs. Palladino was deemed to lack significant valid signatures. And again, I'm going to vouch for Vickie again. And I'm going to say this one more time if I have not said this. Our campaign, and I'm going to repeat this again, our campaign was only seeking signatures for the Republican Party nomination, not any third-party ballot. I even read the paperwork myself when I was getting the signatures. It said, and I quote, petitioning for the Republican primary ballot in District Number 11, my district. And they keep saying, Simon was only the endorsed Republican candidate. He's the only candidate that will appear on the conservative line for the Senate in the 11th Senate District in November. This is just crazy. It really is. And they talk about another candidate, David Bressler. I just don't understand this. I really don't. And then they talk about this from Cindy Gross. This is just insanity. So we'll talk about this crazy accusation that this woman is accusing Vickie Palladino of. I'm sorry, but it really grinded my gears today when I heard about this. It really did. Campaign supporters and volunteers share hate for Jews via social media and in personal gatherings, including an unauthorized Trump group. Now, this is a quote that this woman said. Jews with money, hook noses, Israelis killing Christians, and mausoleums support Nazis and radical Palestinian groups tied to Vickie Palladino. So pretty much everybody remembers how she yelled at Bill de Blasio last year.
I want to know why you let your police officers down and our country down by going to Germany and protesting against our country. Pay your police officers and stop spending it on money to go protest against our country.
So, here's what happened. This lady met Mrs. Palladino during last year's mayoral campaign. She told members of her campaign staff we had a disagreement. We never did. I sensed from her remarks and her actions there was something not kosher. Something not kosher. This is pretty much, again, Simon Minching propaganda right here. This is pretty much the lead up to it. Many of you know, for her political pro-Israel activism, many of you stood by her side when I was honored this year as the Woman of the Year by the National Council of Young Israel. I don't usually get involved in statewide campaigns, especially primaries, but this year I was enforced to get involved. First, when Vickie Palladino started her quest to represent Queens District Number 11, several of her supporters called me to volunteer and fundraise. Several actually said, "You're Jewish, you have lots of money, everyone knows you have lots of money." When that was said to me, I know something is wrong. Then I get calls from Jews from her campaign. I'm Jewish, I'm with Vickie, get me money. First of all, I'm going to go on the record and say this for myself on my behalf. I have no clue who this woman even is. And when Vickie bought me this, Vickie actually bought me this article today. I'm sorry for admitting it. She did. Here's what happened. I was saying to myself, who is this woman? Number one. Number two, I've been with Vickie since she announced her candidacy months ago. And three, I'm going to mention this again. We got the ballot signatures for Fresh Meadows collected on July 5th. I will go on the record and say that right now. That's the third point I wanted to make. All the ballot signatures, the 17 I collected, were collected on July 5th and were given to Queens County GOP and the New York State Board of Electors on July 9th. So they were real signatures. I'm going to go on the record and say that right now. So now we got that out of the way. Let's continue reading. It should be noted that Jewish direct leaders like the Queens Village Republican Club leader Phil Ornstein did not support Palladino when voting to endorse her as the Republican Party candidate. In fact, Palladino did not get any endorsements from the Republican, Conservative, Libertarian, and Reform parties that she actively pursued. I got multiple calls from those tied to Palladino to get Dov Hinklin's endorsement. One of her supporters, though he would automatically get the assemblyman's endorsement by batting him on social media or insulted kind in private conversations this volunteer had with me. Palladino and Latinos for Trump, New York. As I said, I just don't want to read this much. July 31st in New York City, an event sponsored by Latinos for Trump. Vickie Palladino was the guest speaker. While not everybody in the group was anti-Semitic, there were enough witnesses and evidence to back up that many who support the group and Palladino are against Israel and the Jewish people. And look at this word. I don't even want to read this word. Look at this. This is vulgar. Look at this. This is completely vulgar. I can't even read this on a video. I'll get demonetized. I dare not to read it. I'm just going to quickly review this. Alright. Latino for Trump participant who told me he supports Vickie. Both activists shared me with information on how Latino support multiple attacks on Jews and on many occasions. He blames Israel for killing Christians and Muslims, has called Jewish pedophiles and magnatards, and complains Jews are rich. There is plenty more. These aren't activists. They aren't what Trump represents. They aren't even honest people. They are radicals. Many have had issues with the law. Many have had issues with their own finances, have had GoFundMe pages. But this is crazy. This is completely crazy. I just don't understand the nerve of this woman. I really don't. Pretty much, again, she's accusing people tied to the Vickie Palladino campaign anti-Semitic. And yet Vickie has told me this, that she has members of her family who are Jewish, who I am not going to disclose in this video due to her privacy, and of course I don't want to violate the YouTube community guidelines, but I will say this now. This is completely uncalled for, and again, another way to protect Simon Minching. So lastly, we will read this article from the Queens Chronicle that was posted last week. So pretty much this article, this is what she told the Chronicle. These people are having their power threatened for me the first time in a while. We are citizens running a grassroots campaign, which again, I can speak on her behalf for that. It is true that, again, we do not have a lot of money going in, and we do not have a lot of power. And this is what I don't understand here. I really don't. Joanne Ariola, the chairwoman of the Queens Republican Party, dismissed the notion that the White Zone resident is a political threat to her organization. I think that Vickie Palladino is a radical who is very much what we don't want our party to be affiliated with. So really, this is a complete joke right here that they don't want her representing the district. Give me a break. And Queens County Democratic Party pretty much wants Tony Avila. I mean, you know, when Tony Avila and Andrew Cuomo are hanging out and being buddies, that's the proof right there. Eric Ulrich was quoted saying, "I've barely spoken 2 words to Vickie Palladino, and I am not sure that she has the temperament to hold public office." Again, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't really want to read into this article. This is pretty much how, I'm gonna say this again, a way to divide our borough. And right now, with the Queens GOP bickering about Vickie Palladino and Eric Ulrich saying, if somehow she wins the primary, I don't know if I'll even endorse her. You gotta keep in mind that we don't know the real Simon Minching. We don't even know if there'll be a debate. I was hoping that maybe later this month or early in September, there would be a debate at St. John's University. I kept hearing rumors online that both candidates wanted to do a debate at St. John's. But that's not going to happen at the moment because Queens GOP is holding that up at the moment. We don't even know if both of them will even debate. And we deserve a debate, number one. But overall, I'm going to ask you this. If you live in District 11, just think about this for a sec. And I've even talked to my constituents about this here in Fresh Meadows. They happen to agree with me that Simon is not the right person to lead our district. He is not. He's not going to put Queens first. He won't. And honestly, what if he turns our backs on us and somehow ends up being buddy-buddy with Andrew Cuomo? We've seen a Republican do that once, right? And that was the former Nassau County executive at Mangano. We do not want another example like this again. We do not. I'm pretty sure, for all we know, maybe Andrew Cuomo has talked to Simon Minching. Maybe they're already best friends. Maybe Andrew Cuomo wants another Republican to be best friends with because he knows his buddy Ed's going to jail eventually. Eventually Ed has to go to jail. So maybe this is what Andrew's doing right now. He's trying to undermine the democratic process. That's what he's doing, in my opinion. They do not want Vickie being the nominee. They do not want her, honestly, representing the district. She's too radical. Oh, she loves shrimp. He loves shrimp. No! On the statewide level, and I'm going to say this right now, she is a candidate who is putting our interests first. And not to mention, and I will say this on the record, Vickie Palladino is the only candidate in this election who will oppose any statewide plastic bag bans the state of New York is threatening upon us. That's right. You heard it from me first. Cuomo wants a plastic bag ban. He wants it to happen. Vickie is opposed to anything like that. So, ask yourself, when you go to the poll next month, you exactly have about 35 days to think about this from today. Ask yourself, do you want another establishment candidate robot being controlled by Fortune 500 companies representing our district who love Silicon Valley? Or do you want a blue-collar candidate who has been blue-collar all of her life, worked her way up to where she was now, earned the respect that she deserves from me and everybody else in this district, to be our nominee? That is the question you must ask yourself on September 13th. You need to go to the poll and really think about how many dirty games Simon Minching's playing. And I'm going to urge anybody right now, you want to volunteer for Vickie Palladino? Go ahead. Do it. 718-775, let me get the number correctly. I think it's 3302, because if it's not, I apologize, but I'll leave the phone number up anyway. It'll be on the text right now. So I'll say it right now at the moment. You want to volunteer? So it's 718-775-3302. Again, 718-775-3302. Someone from the campaign will get back to you with regard to the volunteering. It's not too late to volunteer. You can also call the number if you want to make an appointment to donate to the campaign. Anything helps at this point. So, I'm done talking about this. And if any other nonsense from Simon comes ever again, we're going to talk about it. We can't be silent, because the media won't tell you about this. They just won't. New York 1, CBS 2, NBC, Fox 5, Channel 7, Channel 11, they won't talk about this. So I have to. That's it. Thank you for watching. Till the next one, take care.
Hi, you've reached the campaign office of Vickie Palladino. Thank you very much for your call. Someone will get back to you as soon as possible. Leave your message at the sound of the beep, and have a great day.